Good morning and welcome to the Daily Connect. My name is Raymond and I'm so glad you could be a part of this time together looking at God's Word and also having an opportunity to pray as a community. And so this week we're starting something new, or at least I'm trying something new. Let's see how it goes. So you may experience some shuttering of the video of this live stream. I ask for your patience as I'm trying out some different things to try to run this Zoom room, prayer room, and at the same time this live stream all at the same time. But here's what's going to happen. We're going to start off with a time in God's Word, and then after that we're going to have a time of community prayer and during that community prayer, those members of my church will gather together in a Zoom room to pray together for various topics that are specific to our community and to our context. And for those of you who are watching from different places, from a part of different churches, I want to encourage you to connect with people in your community, in your church, your body, and pray together for things that are specific in your area. All right, with that, don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't done so already, share this video if you find this helpful, and let's get God's Word out there. Let's dive right into it. Let's open up our Bibles. Open up our Bibles to Exodus chapter 30. Exodus chapter 30. We're going to be continuing this this focus on what is worship? What is worship? Just to kind of take a step back, for those of you who are just joining us for the first time, maybe we are looking at these set of laws and expectations that are brought down to Moses, who would then relay this to the Israelites. Now, up until this point, the Israelites had been freed from Egypt, from enslavement in Egypt. They've experienced miracles along the way. They've crossed the Red Sea, or the Gulf of Aqaba, as it's known today. They journeyed in the wilderness for a while. They've had their complaints and whatnot. They've now landed at Mount Sinai. They're all gathered around the base of Mount Sinai as Moses is receiving all this, all the expectations of what it means to be a brand new nation, a new culture, as well as these new standards of worship. From chapters 25 through 31, these are chapters that are focused on what is worship going to be like? What are some of the instruments of worship? Who's consecrated for the service of this tabernacle, of this place where they're going to encounter God? Today, we're going to be looking at some more elements of the tabernacle. I titled this Altar, Tax, Basin. These are additional tools for holiness. Specifically, we're going to be looking at the first 21 verses 1 through 21 of Exodus chapter 30. Let's dive right into it. Starting from verse 1. You shall make an altar on which to burn incense. You shall make it of acacia wood. A cubit shall be its length, and a cubit its breadth. It shall be square, and 2 cubits tall. And 2 cubits shall be its height. Its horns shall be of one piece with it. You shall overlay it with gold, pure gold, its top and its sides and its horns. And you shall make a molding of gold around it. And you shall make 2 golden rings for it under its molding on 2 opposite sides of it. You shall make them, and they shall be holders for poles with which to carry it. You shall make the poles of acacia wood and overlay them with gold, and you shall put it in front of the veil that is above the ark of the testimony, in front of the mercy seat that is above the testimony, where I will meet you. And Aaron shall burn fragrant incense on it. Every morning when he dresses the lamps, he shall burn it. And when Aaron sets up the lamps at twilight, he shall burn it. A regular incense offering before the Lord throughout your generations. You shall not offer unauthorized incense on it, or a burnt offering, or a grain offering, and you shall not pour a drink offering on it. Aaron shall make atonement on its horns once a year. With the blood of the sin offering of atonement, he shall make atonement for it once in the year throughout your generations. It is most holy to the Lord. Now there's this new altar that is being introduced here. Already we have the altar for the burnt offerings. Now this is an altar for incense, and it's only for incense. And even then, it is only for authorized incense, meaning it's got to be made from a very specific list of ingredients, which we're going to find out later tomorrow in verse 34. But let me just go over some of the notes here. So this new altar is placed right in front of the tabernacle, the tent of meeting. The tent of meeting, in a lot of cases, refers to the entire complex, but here, this particular reference of the tent of meeting is right in front of the place of the holy place, and this altar is only for incense, nothing else, and it's about a fifth of the size of the altar for the burnt offerings, but there are a lot of details about it that is very similar. The horns is to be one piece with its entire altar. That's very much like the altar for the burnt offering. It, instead of being covered in bronze as the altar of the burnt offerings, this one is covered with pure gold. It's overlaid with pure gold. It's only about a fifth of the size of the burnt offering, altar of the burnt offering, but much in the same way, no human hand is supposed to touch it. It is only to be carried via these poles. The purification of it is to be done once a year, probably about the same time as the atonement for the entire nation by the high priest. Take some of that blood from the sin offering and put it on the horns of this altar of incense. Not to be handled by human hands, just like the Ark of the Covenant and the altar of the burnt offerings. And it's during this time that a lot of is it so? If it's if this live stream is difficult to understand, let me know, and I will try to clean it up. But continue on. This incense is offered much in the same way as a lot of cultures are doing during that time. They offer incense to their gods as a way of inviting their gods into the place wherever it is. It's kind of like I don't want to say it's a deity attractant, but it is something along those lines, trying to invite that deity into that place because of the incense. And here, in that same vein, and it's actually authorized by God, have that incense and keep it as a regular thing every day for all generations. Later on, we would come to find out that the incense in the temple that's in Revelation chapter 5 in God's throne room are represented as, or symbolized as, the prayers of the believers. Let's continue on. Verse 11. Verse 11. Now we're going to be talking about a different aspect of worship. This is the census tax, or the atonement tax, depending on your translation. Starting from verse 11. The Lord said to Moses, "When you take the census of the people of Israel, then each shall give a ransom for his life to the Lord when you number them, that there be no plague among them when you number them. Each one is numbered in the census. Each one who is numbered in the census shall give this, half a shekel, according to the shekel of the sanctuary. The shekel is 20 gerahs. Half a shekel is an offering to the Lord. Everyone who is numbered in the census from 20 years and upward shall give the Lord's offering. The rich shall not give more, and the poor shall not give less than the half shekel. When you give the Lord's offering to make atonement for your lives, you shall make the atonement money from the people of Israel, and shall give it for the service of the tent of meeting, that it may bring the people of Israel to remembrance before the Lord, so as to make atonement for your lives." Now, this particular section here talks about this one-time census that is to be taken place. This is not at all the same as the census that will be talked about in Numbers chapter 1. This census is a one-time census of every male that is 20 years and older. And from that, each of these men are to bring in a sense, a monetary offering before the Lord. And this offering that is collected is going to be used for the construction of the tabernacle. Now, all this census takes place before the construction of the tabernacle. And so the census that is taken after the construction of the tabernacle is going to be handled a lot differently. But this one-time census is very, very important because I think it draws a distinction between the worshiper and the mediator. There's all this work that the mediator, the high priest, has to go through. As he ministers to the tabernacle, he has to ensure that he is consecrated, he is set aside for this special work. But for the worshiper, they bring their offering to the Lord, and it doesn't matter if you're rich, you're poor, it doesn't matter who you are, it is the same for you. That offering that you bring is the same. And this ransom, it's really to make an atonement offering, not in the same way as the sin offering, the burnt offering, in that this one does not involve an animal. This one involves a contribution, and in a sense, the consequence of not bringing this offering, this contribution to the Lord, is very much a sign of your faith, your relationship with the Lord. And the consequence of that is reminiscent of the plague of the firstborn that we saw in Exodus chapter 12, that was against Egypt. The sanctuary shekel, taking a step back, the temple is essentially the hub of the culture. It is a hub for political activity, is a hub for religious activity. It is a social hub. It is also an economic hub. And as a result, in a sense, the currency, the shekel, is set by the temple. And the temple, or the sanctuary, is a shekel is equivalent to 20 gerahs, and a gerah is on average about probably a little bit over a gram. And so what is brought before the Lord is about 10 grams of of monetary equivalence, if you will. The rich, the poor, it doesn't matter who you are, your economic status at that time. Everyone is to bring that same offering before the Lord, no more, no less. There's no special treatment between all of these different people.